This evening, some fresh data coming on in. And once again, this storm continues to look colder. The storm track continues to push south as that colder air is able to push this whole system south. This map shows us where the heaviest snow is likely to fall and the greatest ice impacts are likely to build up. And it looks like for now, still Arkansas, we're under the gun for ice, especially in parts of the River Valley and maybe really into central Arkansas. Conway, Little Rock, they're trending a little bit icier, and also parts of northeast Arkansas towards Jonesboro. However, what's been really interesting is that as this cold air moves in, we may not get very much ice, maybe a little bit, 1/10 of an inch in northwestern Arkansas or so, but heavier snow is going to be moving on in. So we're going to have a live stream tonight, talk about the latest things that we're seeing, the latest trends, the latest impacts, what we're expecting, all that good stuff. Darren and Erica and I were talking a little bit earlier, you know, a lot of folks wishing for a white Christmas, and we were joking about we finally getting it now. Supply chain issues, right? We're going to get a good dose, especially in northwest Arkansas. I'm getting a couple systems ready as folks hop on. I hope you guys enjoyed today. I mean, it wasn't as sunny as it has been the past couple of days, but we were still in the 50s and 60s. We've had some showers too. And guess what? The more rain that we can get now, that'll help continue to cool off the roads and the bridges because, you know, guys, it's been warm. I mean, we've had days in the 60s. We had some 70s yesterday, especially in Sequoyah County. But we are expecting things to change here very shortly as temperatures drop and those ice threats continue to go up. We've got winter storm warnings posted area-wide. Now, Logan County and Scott County, we still have the winter storm watch in effect, but we're going to be looking to see if they issue a warning or a winter weather advisory towards Scott County, Logan County. So we'll have to see. The National Weather Service in Little Rock is still debating that at the moment. So once they decide what they're going to do, they're going to issue it, and then we'll let you guys know here pretty much ASAP. All right, let's go ahead and get things going. I've been starting all these lives here in the evenings with this map as we're able to see the general track of this storm. Here in a bit too, I've got a computer here. We can look at some of the questions, concerns, and comments that you guys have. So feel free to send those in and we can go through those. But so far, the storm track continues to push a little bit farther south, pushing ice threats south, pushing the snow threats south too, and really clipping parts of northwest Arkansas. Now, the heaviest snow will be in Missouri, towards Illinois, and in Indiana and Ohio. Some folks getting over a foot of snow, sometimes even up to 2 feet of snow. This is a big storm system. It's hard to say, but this could be the biggest winter storm that the central United States gets this season. It's definitely the biggest one we've had so far. And we're starting, you know, we're February now, February 1st. Hope you guys had a good start to February. But things are about to turn a lot more wintry as we continue to push through this month. All right, latest ice forecast. This is a statewide view, and then we'll focus in on northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. As that storm track continues to push south, that significant ice threat also continues to push south. Here in this dark pink and purple color, stretching all the way from even southern LaFleur County and southeast Oklahoma into Scott County, kind of clipping possibly Mount Magazine, and then at east into Russellville, Conway, maybe even Little Rock, and then north and east towards Jonesboro, and then north and east towards the Mississippi River and parts of Missouri. But I think in northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, our ice amounts, especially closer to the interstates, will be a little bit less. From Clarksville westbound to Fort Smith Van Buren, we're expecting about a 1/4 inch of ice, maybe a 1/4 inch of ice also for some of our eastern Oklahoma counties, LaFleur County and Sequoyah County too. So from Poteau northbound to Cameron, Spiro, Shady Point, and Salisaw. In the mountains, a good 1/4 inch is also possible. And then once you get into the metros of northwest Arkansas, anywhere from Greenland, Farmington, Prairie Grove, Lincoln, north into Fayetteville, and then north to Bentonville, there's a chance for a 1/10 of an inch of ice. We'll talk about the impacts. What does a 1/10 actually mean? I mean, yes, you can measure it, but what kind of impacts does that generally mean? We'll talk about those in a second. But the ice will be a lot less than it will be in the River Valley. And in the River Valley, it's going to be less than what they get towards central Arkansas. But we're going to have to watch for our friends and family in Scott County, Waldron, towards Paris, maybe even close to Boonville, too, in southern Logan County. We could get a little bit more ice. Ice is tricky, right? There's not much we can do with ice. Ice also means more power outages. So tree damage starts to happen with more ice. So we're really concerned right now throughout the River Valley and towards central Arkansas for the greatest ice amounts. But let's compare this to previous storms. We all remember 2009 in northwest Arkansas. That's where we got 1.5 inches of ice. We're farther down the spectrum. We're closer to here, 0.1 to maybe 0.25 inches of ice. When we get this amount, power outages are possible. Not everyone's going to lose power, though, it looks like at this moment, but they may be more scattered and they may be more temporary. Of course, it really depends on how fast the crews can get back out and service. So every location is different. Forecasting winter weather is hard enough. Forecasting power outages is pretty difficult, but we're expecting some scattered power outages, so be on the lookout for that. Roads are likely to become slick, but the bridges are going to become dangerous. You know, there are 30 bridges on I-49 alone from Alma north to Bella Vista, over 30. So we've got several bridges that are going to become dangerous. In the River Valley, remember that 2000 ice storm, right? Where we also got 1.5 to 2 inches or more of ice, and we were stuck without power for weeks on end, right? Well, we're farther down the spectrum too, although we're higher up than Northwest Arkansas. In the River Valley, as we're going to get maybe between 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch of ice, power outages are more likely. We'll probably have scattered power outages lasting 1 to 2 days. Roads are become hazardous though, and bridges sometimes may be impassable, especially smaller bridges, ones that maybe aren't treated as quickly as some of the main roads. So please be on the lookout for those bridges and overpasses. Those will ice up very quickly. And once you get to 0.2, 0.3, 0.4 inches of ice, that's when you start to get some tree limb damage. You probably don't get more trees down until closer to 1 or 1.5 inches of ice. So it's mainly just some of the extra limbs that may start to get some damage and may fall and cause possibly more power outages. So this isn't a 2009 or 2000 ice storm for us, but we'll have to really watch towards Little Rock. They may get a lot of ice out of this. The reason why we're not getting as much ice, at least it looks like for now, this forecast will continue to evolve as we get closer. We're under 24 hours though, now until the start. So we're starting to wrap up on our forecast, and eventually we'll go into what's happening mode and giving you those latest details. But here's our snow accumulation map. It keeps getting crazier and crazier. Look how different it is from south to north. We may try to pick up a dusting to an inch for parts of Logan County and Scott County, but then you head north and west. Once you get towards Charleston and Hackett and Greenwood, Poteau, Cameron, Fort Smith, Fort Chaffee, Ozark, and Alma, we may get closer to the 2 inch mark. And we're take the color right over your county, and we'll go county by county here in a moment. But take your color, take your number, and maybe, you know, kind of plus or minus a little bit. But I think the average for this blue area for most of LaFleur County, Sebastian County, into Franklin County and Johnson County will be around 2 inches of snow. Once you get north and west of Fort Smith, though, as that colder air is able to wrap in on the side of the Boston Mountains kind of end here in parts of central Adair County. Some of that cold air is going to be able to wrap in, and that's why you see that blue band start to dive south a little bit more towards eastern Oklahoma. But Sequoia County, we could try to get more than 2 inches, maybe even up to 4. From Van Buren north towards the Lee Creek Reservoir, towards Natural Dam, Cedarville, Uniontown, we could try to get 2 to 4. Mountainburg also included, and then high up in Franklin County, we could try to get closer to 4 inches or so. But then you head north into the mountains, right over the Bobby Hopper Tunnel, and into parts of Washington County. We'll start to transition from 2 to 4 to possibly 4 to 6. So that extends from Fayetteville and Greenland, also including Farmington, and anyone along Highway 62 from Farmington and Lincoln and Prairie Grove, 4 to 6 inches possible. That includes Springdale, Johnson, Rogers, Bentonville, Elm Springs. We could get 4 to 6. And then we'll have to see. This forecast may change. We may have to increase the numbers. I'll be honest. A lot of new data is coming in, and it's coming in hot. Well, I guess it's coming in cold because we're getting more snow. We'll have to see. The snowfall totals are really ramping up as you get closer to the Missouri state line. I think if you're from Prairie Creek, North Rogers, towards Garfield, towards the power dam, the dam there, north side of Beaver Lake, and then once you're towards the new bypass, Bella Vista bypass on I-49, Garfield, Gentry, we've got a chance to hit over 1/2 foot of snow. And then even more once you head to that pink color in parts of southwestern Missouri and parts of McDonald County. All right, so Benton County, a solid 6 plus or minus a couple inches of snow possible for us. Carroll County, 4 to 6. Madison County, somewhere between 3, 4, 5 inches of snow, I think, for us. In Washington County, anywhere between 3 to 5, maybe up and up to 6 inches as well for Fayetteville and Springdale. And then once you head into the River Valley, Sequoia County, 2 to 4. Crawford County, about 1, 2, 3 inches for us, a little bit more as you head north in the mountains. Franklin County, I think a lot of us will get 2, a little bit more in the mountains. Johnson County, most of us will get 2. We'll kind of be between 1 to 2 inches in Clarksville at the moment. Logan County, anywhere from Mount Magazine, Paris, south and west towards Boonville, about 1 inch, and then Waldron, possibly also 1 inch of snow too. That's on top of the ice. So snowfall, here's another way to look at it. We just made this for fun. I mean, we could try to get halfway up on the ruler in northwest Arkansas, and in Benton County a little bit more. In the River Valley, we'll get more ice, and that's why our snow chances are lower, but we'll have a layer of ice first, And then the river valley, we could try to get a couple inches too, a little bit more as you head towards the Boston Mountains. There's the cold front right now. All right, so that's the forecast. Now let's kind of dive into what's happening right now and continue to move forward with timing. Cold front just towards our north. You see in Missouri, we're already seeing that transition from rain, and sometimes heavy rain too, over to some sleet and ice, and then over to some snow. That colder air will continue to press south the next several hours overnight, and that rain-snow line will push south as well. We're getting more rain now reporting across northwest Arkansas. It's kind of cut off anywhere from Greenland and Fayetteville northbound. So once you head to Springdale and then north into Bentonville and Rogers, we've got the rain. South and west towards Salem Springs, also getting that rain. And some pockets are kind of heavy too at times. We're not expecting thunderstorms. That's good news, but just some good doses of rain. And also a little bit more rain reporting in the River Valley too. A lot of us have been dry throughout the River Valley, other than a couple stray sprinkles. But more rain starting to fill in anywhere from Mount Magazine, Clarksville, west into Franklin County, getting some of those showers too. So we're going to continue to watch those develop and push on north. With those showers, eventually they'll change over to ice and snow later tomorrow. We'll talk about timing in just a moment. But we've got winter storm warnings in effect area-wide for northwest Arkansas, all of eastern Oklahoma. In the River Valley, we've got a kind of a cutoff. We've got winter storm warnings for Johnson County, Franklin County, Crawford County, and Sebastian County. The blue color shows you winter storm watches for Logan County and Scott County. So it's kind of just extra information. We can do this on lives, right? We don't have enough time on TV. But for a lot of us from Fort Smith into northwest Arkansas, our National Weather Service is in Tulsa. And then you head towards Scott County, Logan County, and Johnson County. National Weather Service is located in Little Rock, so we're kind of divided in our area. Little Rock has already decided to put Johnson County in a winter storm warning just because once you get from Clarksville north towards the mountains, higher snowfall totals are likely. In the south, Logan County and Scott County, there's a couple different things that could happen. We could get a winter storm warning. We could just extend them south. That's possible. We could also get a winter weather advisory. That could be possible too. That's kind of just a lower level. Meteorologist Tyler Moore has a really cool video on YouTube talking about all the differences. We don't have time to get in that at the moment, but if you go on YouTube, type in Arctic Arkansas, Tyler Moore, winter weather alerts, you'll find all that info. It's really interesting, and every office is different, so it's kind of confusing but interesting at the same time. The third option may even be an ice storm warning because the ice threats are higher now in Logan County, Scott County, south and east towards Little Rock. So we're really going to be on the lookout for Paris and Boonville and Waldron here in the next several hours. Once the National Weather Service decides what they want to do, we will let you know. That also extends that blue color towards Little Rock. So they're going to issue something for Central Arkansas here soon. But winter storm warnings, look how expansive they are, stretching all the way from parts of central Texas, right through Arkansas and Oklahoma and into the Great Lakes. The heaviest snow will be right along I-44, anywhere from I-44 Joplin to St. Louis, and then you hop on I-70 St. Louis through Effingham, Indianapolis, and Dayton. Lots of heavy snow coming on in. Our problem, though, is that they're getting a lot of snow, but I think things are worse here because we got a layer of ice coming, and that layer of ice will be thicker in the River Valley. In northwest Arkansas, we'll get a little bit more snow and less ice, but all of us have the chance to get at least some sort of ice to build up first, and then we'll throw in some sleet and snow on top. Remember, ice is what glazes, so it hits the ground and then it starts to flash freeze like an ice rink. Sleet pellets bounce. They're kind of like sprinkles on a donut, right? They're more little ice pellets that are falling, kind of almost look like small little hail. And then snow sticks, and then it really accumulates. Snow accumulates the fastest. So we'll see what happens, but we'll get some ice and then some snow. Here's the latest on timing in northwest Arkansas. Tomorrow morning, we'll have some light scattered showers in the morning. But then as we get closer to 9, 10, 11 o'clock, we'll watch temperatures drop below 32, but also probably below 30 degrees. To really get a good icing event, you really need about 28. So we're going to start to see that freezing rain, freezing drizzle take place late in the morning, early afternoon. We may start to get slick, but we'll really get slick after 3 o'clock and then throughout the rest of the evening hours. I think after 7, 8 o'clock, then we've got to worry about the chance of changing over to sleet and snow. But here in the afternoon and evening, northwest Arkansas, that's when we'll start to get slick. In the River Valley, we've got a little bit more time. Thank goodness the mountains are just towards our north, right? Kind of block the cold air from getting in super quickly, but eventually it will arrive. We'll start in the upper 40s, and then we'll cool down the rest of the day. We're still well above freezing until about 4 or 5 o'clock, and then as we get closer to the freezing mark, we'll also have that chance to switch over to some freezing drizzle. But I think most of the day we'll just be dealing with rain. Quick caveat to that. Eastern Oklahoma, some folks, I've got family in Poto. We consider the River Valley, but some folks want to consider River Valley just Arkansas. That's another debate for another time. Eastern Oklahoma, Sequoia County and LaFleur County, because we don't have much of the terrain, yes, there's Kavanaugh Hill, but you can go around Kavanaugh Hill pretty easily. We may switch over to freezing rain in eastern Oklahoma for Sequoia and LaFleur counties a little bit sooner than we do in Fort Smith and Van Buren. So just keep that in mind for our friends in Pirate Country and Poteau, north towards Salisaw. Here's another way to look at the timing. This is showing most of the event now. Northwest Arkansas will just start from north to south. We'll get some rain showers in the morning, but as soon as we get towards noon, we switch over from rain over to some freezing rain, maybe some sleet mixing in too. But as soon as midnight rolls around, so we're wrapping up Wednesday and we go into Thursday, we'll change over to completely just accumulating snow. And that's when we're gonna ramp things up on our inches. They're gonna come on down. That will continue for all the daylight hours on Thursday. Slowly, we'll try to wind things down, but now there may be another batch of some flurries that come in early Friday morning. And since there's already snow on the ground, it's nothing for a flurry to add a little bit more. It's hard when the ground is bare and then you get a flurry. It doesn't always stick, but we'll have a good layer for any snowflakes to fall on. In the River Valley, tomorrow, Wednesday, we'll start off with showers for the morning. We'll probably have just rain showers until about 5 or 6. But once that sun sets and we start to get a lot colder, we'll switch over to some freezing rain and sleet throughout all of the overnight hours. I tell you what, because the ice threat's a lot higher in the River Valley, it is going to be tough headed out Thursday morning. So be advised in the River Valley specifically, waking up Thursday morning, watching out for that freezing rain and sleet. Eventually later in the morning, we'll switch over to accumulating snow. We won't get as much as Northwest Arkansas because we've got a good chunk of the sleet and ice, but I think it's going to be even more slick once you head south of the hill. At least in Northwest Arkansas, snow is hard to travel on anyways, but ice, forget it, right? But snow, at least there's a little bit more traction than ice. Still slick. So just be careful as you're headed out the door. So we're going to have all our crews ready. Everyone's gassed up. We've got folks ready in the River Valley. We've got ready folks in Northwest Arkansas too, ready to track the winter weather as it comes on in. And we'll let you know what's happening. And then you guys let us know on the 5 News app. You can go on and once you scroll down a little bit on the home page, there's a submit photos and videos feature. Go ahead and send us what you're seeing. It helps us out, try to figure out what the radar is doing. Is the radar completely accurate? What's fallen? And then we send those reports to the National Weather Service. They really appreciate it too. Let's walk through Futurecast this evening. And then here in a moment, we'll go over some questions and comments and concerns that you guys have. We'll try to answer them. Here's overnight tonight. Early tomorrow morning, before we're even up, most of us, right? 3 a.m., rain showers continue. A lot of us are going to be in the 50s. I mean, we're safe from any ice happening tonight. By tomorrow morning, we'll have to watch. We're going to get close to maybe getting some of that freezing drizzle even before the noon hour, but it won't really probably get slick until afternoon. In the River Valley, we're solidly with the rain for Wednesday morning, but eventually we'll watch our temperatures drop too. Once we get to the 30s, we've got to be on the lookout. Once we get to the 20s, though, that's when you've got significant icing occurring. However, notice Wednesday afternoon. Yes, we start to switch over to ice in Northwest, and we still got the rain in the River Valley. Everything is a little bit lighter. There's a pocket of dry air, just kind of a bubble floating through this storm system, and the bubble hits us Wednesday midday. So yes, we've got some freezing drizzle, but it may not be too crazy heavy. We're still going to get slick. But that is one thing to keep in mind. It may not be super heavy tomorrow afternoon. So don't think when you're looking out the window, it's not doing anything. Well, there may be some breaks tomorrow afternoon before things really ramp up later in the evening. I'll show you that as we go throughout the rest of the day, we start to fill in more moisture. So that bubble tries to go away closer to sunset. We're getting a mix of ice and sleet in Northwest Arkansas, still trying to hold on to the rain in the River Valley. But we're pretty close to freezing. We'll eventually drop that. And then after sunset, eventually we collapse our temperatures in the River Valley. We start to get ice and sleet. In Northwest Arkansas, our ice and sleet will start to wind down. And eventually this blue color shows you the snow. That snow will start to filter in from north and west. And then we're talking about accumulating snow anytime from sunrise onward for Northwest Arkansas. In the River Valley, it's a little bit tricky. But we'll watch snow fill in from the north and west first and then penetrate farther deep into the River Valley towards Logan County, Scott County, and Johnson County. But I think by Thursday afternoon, we're all snow. We may ramp things down a little bit towards sunset, but guess what? There could be another batch of some light snow towards Oklahoma. It won't be hard for this to accumulate, but that'll push eastbound, and we may get additional snowfall late Thursday night into early Friday morning. Still kind of working on that accumulation. So far, 4, 5, 6, 7 inches in Northwest Arkansas. The more you get, the more north you live. In the River Valley, 1 to 2, although Sequoia County and Crawford County, we may get closer to 3, maybe even 4. We'll have to see. We've got red weather alerts Wednesday through Thursday in northwest Arkansas, 100% chance, 90% chance, something is coming. Something is going to fall. Now, the timing can still be a little bit wonky, plus or minus a couple hours that we've talked about. But rain will start in the morning, but then by lunchtime, we'll switch over to the ice and sleet. And then by midnight, Wednesday night, and a Thursday morning, we'll switch over to snow in northwest Arkansas, and we're just pure snow the rest of the day. That second round of snow may come in Friday morning. Things finally dry out and clear out later into the weekend. In fact, we'll probably melt most of our stuff Saturday and Sunday. The tricky part, though, is it's hard to not notice these numbers, right? We're going to get down to single digits in northwest Arkansas Thursday night and into Friday night. And if we lose power, that'll be very difficult. Lots of Arkansans will have to fight some of that colder air. So that's something that we're concerned about. But the one good thing is the ice has been pushed south from northwest Arkansas compared to what it normally looked like earlier. If we can get more snow than ice, usually our power outages aren't as impacted, but we'll have to see. Heavy ice really knocks you out. In the River Valley, that's something that we're more concerned about. We think there are going to be more power outages in the River Valley than in northwest Arkansas because we're dealing with more ice. We'll go from rain in the morning to some ice later by evening, and then we really ice things up Wednesday night and early Thursday morning. By the time the sun comes up Thursday, we'll try to switch over to some sleet and snow as temperatures continue to drop. Now, Thursday night and Friday night will be in the teens, but our wind chills will be next to zero. We're going to have a north wind about 15 miles per hour or so it's going to feel a lot colder these 2 nights, and that's where we have the greatest impacts for those power outages, especially south of I-40. That's where the ice looks like it's going to be the most, so be on the lookout. It's going to get cold, and then we start to warm things up as we approach the weekend. We've got a lot of sunshine on the way, temperatures rebounding back into the 40s. Hopefully this gives you a better idea where we can talk about the forecast a little bit more. Just show what we're expecting as we get closer to this event. We're under 24 hours now until this storm starts to come on in. All right. Kitty litter works well. I didn't know that. That's interesting. I guess putting that down, if you don't have a big bag of the salt, maybe kitty litter works. That's great. Ice versus snow. Who you got? Looks like more snow for northwest Arkansas. Ice for the River Valley. What are chances for power outages for the River Valley? I'll show you that here in a moment. We can go off past data and see how much ice has fallen, then how many power outages usually happen after that. Here's the map I was looking for. Uh-oh, moved it. Let me go back. There we go. So on a scale from a trace, barely anything, maybe a slight glaze, up to about 1.5 inches, you can get even more, but at that time it's all the same. Once you get to farther right here on the scale, more ice, you can get numerous widespread power outages for a week. And we remember that from 2000. Northwest Arkansas, remember that from 2009. In the River Valley, we're farther down the scale. We're somewhere between 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of ice. And on average, just going off historical data, of course, power grids change and just things change. But our best guess is that scattered power outages are likely for 1 to 2 days in the River Valley. In Northwest Arkansas, maybe not as long. Of course, it depends on how much snow falls and can crews get to the places that they need to go. But we're expecting a few less, power outages, I think, in northwest Arkansas. They'll be scattered. Not everyone's going to lose power, I think, in northwest Arkansas. But roads are going to get slick. Bridges are going to become very dangerous. So this is kind of a way to look at some of the ice threats coming our way. Let's see. What do you expect the roads to be Friday morning? Good question. Nothing is really going to melt until we get towards Friday afternoon, because Wednesday we switch over to the ice later in the day, and then in the River Valley we get maybe some ice in the morning, but then more snow the rest of the day. There's not a chance to really melt things, and that's even the case once we try to wind things down Thursday night into Friday morning. So Friday morning's still going to be slick, just as slick as it was throughout the storm system. At least most of it would have fallen by then, so you can kind of gauge, okay, what did the roads look like compared to heading out, and who knows what's going to happen, right? But roads are going to be slick probably Friday morning. I know we have some updates, of course, on our website. We've got a full list of school closings that are coming on, and a lot of schools are going to virtual. Talk with some teachers, though. At some point, if you lose too much power, you've got to cancel class. But it looks like the power outages will be worse in the River Valley and central Arkansas when you're looking at the greatest ice threat that comes in towards the central half of the state. In northwest Arkansas, we get maybe a little ice, but it turns on to pure snow pretty quickly, it looks like so far. So we'll have to see how that works. Cow feed, that's interesting. It works well on trying to kind of make a surface like a driveway or sidewalk a little bit better. Let's see. I don't plan to be outside. I don't want to break my back, Natasha says. I don't blame you. David Evans then says, then 70 degrees. I tell you what, we are going to get warmer. Maybe not 70 for the next 7 days, but it is going to get warmer. Guys, it's February. February is our third fastest month where we gain daylight, and so we'll gain more daylight. We'll gain at least 50 minutes across Arkansas. Specifically in Fort Smith, we'll gain about 55 minutes of daylight this month. In Northwest Arkansas, we'll gain about 56. So that's some good news. Let's see, at least 30 or so bucket-type power code trucks in an empty parking lot in Van Buren, ready and waiting. That's good. So the utility companies, we've called them, we've been doing interviews with them. So if you watched our normal 5 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10, you've seen those interviews, and they don't want to mess around with this. They want to make sure that they can really try to get the power up and restored if it does go down. And so power outages are possible with the storm system, no way to get around that. Also, National Guard is activating. I know they've got folks, I believe the Armory in Bentonville, they got a report by about noon or so. So we've got National Guard troops being deployed. We'll try to find out more information on where they're headed. Are they going to be, everyone kind of going towards central Arkansas? Are they going to be sent to the River Valley? Are they going to send towards snow, events in Northwest Arkansas? We'll have to see. We'll try to get you that information. But National Weather Service has indicated winter storm warnings area-wide. National Guard will be out. 1 to 2 feet for Northwest Arkansas. I don't think it'll be that high, but our chances keep going up. West Fork and the 0.25 inch of ice. You guys are. So West Fork's here in central and southern portions of Washington County. Here's about Greenland, West Fork. Somewhere between 0.1 to 0.25 inches probably for West Fork. It's going to be a lot worse as you head south, deeper in the mountains, and then once you come out south into the River Valley. I love that view too when you're kind of close to the 2 truck stops there near just south of Mountainburg and the Rudy exit, and you just come on the River Valley. You just see it's just stunningly beautiful. But that's where the ice is also likely to visit too. Hope I can get enough snow in Fort Smith so I can play with it with my son, Tori said. We'll get some snow, but I think the heaviest snow will be in Northwest Arkansas, but we could try to get an inch or 2, maybe 3 inches in the River Valley. Donuts in the Walmart parking lot. I don't know if they want that, but yeah, there's going to be snow. There's going to be some ice too. Let's see. Save some of the cold air for summertime. I wish we could work that way. Let's see. Do you think the east wind the River Valley usually has will keep it warmer, prolonging the freezing rain before changeover? That's coming in from Craig. That's a great question. Usually that East Valley breeze at first is colder, but then it can try to modify throughout the event. I really think this wind is going to overtake that East Valley breeze. We may get a little bit of it, but I think that south wind and eventually that north wind that takes over is just going to kind of just eradicate that East Valley breeze. But we'll have to watch. Always along the Arkansas River, things get very tricky to forecast, right? And then, of course, same thing in the mountains, especially in the heart of the mountains at the highest elevations, weather just gets very tricky. Sometimes something be happening in Van Buren and Mountainburg, and something's happened in Fayetteville, but once you head on I-49 and get in between, or US 71, it's just a completely different story. Just ran into my computer. All right. What time does the temperature drop enough for freezing to begin? It's a good question. Let's go from Northwest Arkansas and into the River Valley. Let's see, one more. There we go. In Northwest Arkansas, we'll start that freezing process. Some of us may start it a little bit earlier, but I think a lot of us in Northwest Arkansas won't really notice the freezing rain until about noon. Tomorrow morning, you want to check in with meteorologist Tyler Moore. He'll give you the latest updates on what we're seeing, and if freezing rain's going ahead and starting and this system's just ready to go, we'll be the first ones to tell you. So he'll let you know tomorrow morning. Tune in with him, but we've already pushed it a little bit earlier, so we'll have to see if it goes even more early. Just earlier throughout the day. But rain and sleet and freezing rain and sleet really continue all the way to midnight, and then that snow takes over. In the River Valley, the timing for us will be a little bit later in the day. I think most of the day is just going to be kind of boring. Couple light showers on and off. It may not rain the whole time either. There might be times where it's just kind of cloudy. But then 5, 6, 7 o'clock, we'll switch over to some freezing rain, and then things are really going to get slick towards midnight, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., closer to 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, we should switch over to some accumulating snow as well. Hopefully this gives you a better idea on what to do, and as you're trying to figure out your plans for the rest of the week. So it's going to get tricky. I think Wednesday, some of us may be able to still squeeze in our plans okay, especially in the morning. In the river valley, maybe most of the day. We'll have to see. The freezing rain may start until closer to sunset, so the majority of the daylight hours may be okay. We'll, of course, let you know any changes if anything really takes place, if the colder air is able to make its way faster in, towards the river valley. But Thursday is the tricky day. Thursday, no matter where you are, northwest Arkansas and the river valley, travel is going to be difficult. So make sure you give yourself extra time. If you do have to head out, it might be a good idea to make sure your vehicle emergency kit is ready to go. My wife and I were looking at our vehicles. We've got emergency kits ready to go, and full tanks of gas. That might be one thing you want to make sure you got a full tank of gas, because if you need some power and you got to keep the vehicle parked on the driveway for a second to turn it on to try to juice up something, just be a good idea to keep a full tank. But otherwise, it's going to get very messy Thursday. Friday will likely to be messy too, because we're winding things down, but we could still have some snow in the morning, very light, probably just some flurries, but nothing's going to really start to melt until Friday evening, eventually once temperatures warm up, and then definitely this weekend we'll try to melt some stuff as temperatures warm back into the 40s. All right, thank you guys for staying with us. Make sure you keep it local. We want you to stay safe. We'll keep you advised throughout this whole winter storm. We're going to have several live streams coming up here on our YouTube channel, our app, and our website, and of course on Facebook too, as we continue to give you the latest on what to expect and what's coming down. We're under less than 24 hours until ice begins. We'll see you guys soon.